Buongiorno a tutti dal Festival A-Tube. Quest'anno il festival è la sua seconda edizione, il Festival internazionale del cinema d'animazione di Varese. Abbiamo un ospite eccezionale con noi, Goodman, che in esclusiva per l'Italia ci presenterà il suo lavoro realizzato per il film candidato all'Oscar 2009 di Ari Folman, Waltz con Bashir. How did it start your cooperation with Ari Folman?
Well, we started by making a documentary series. It's actually Ari's had a documentary series of 5 chapters called The Material That Love Is Made Of. It was basically he was following several love stories, and he had an idea to start every chapter with him interviewing scientists, and the scientists that he interviewed were all saying that love is all chemicals and there's no such thing as love. And he came to me and to David Polonsky, who is the art director, and he said, I want to ridicule them, so let's do it in animation. And this was like everyone told him, are you crazy? Animation, it's not going to work, you're going to fail. So we did it, and it was a big success, and it was a wonderful collaboration. We made very funny slapstick movies, and we were all laughing at them for saying that love is all chemicals. And this was a very good collaboration, and when we finished, he came to us and he said, listen, I have this idea about my service in Lebanon, and now I know how to do it. So this is how it came to be. Well, I think this is the only way we could have really told the story, because animation gives you lots of freedoms in sense of, if you want to. Our other option would actually be to take interviews with 40-year-old guys and take archives of, and they say, oh, we were in a tank, and just show a picture of a tank. And we really wanted to get a sense of what they felt like, what was really happening. And with animation, we can really recreate everything as it happened, or as the person who talks about it perceives it. So we can also get into the realm of trauma, of fantasy, of really showing how the person felt, using colors, using images. And this is something that we really couldn't have done in live action.
And is there any big industry of animation in Israel?
No, there's a very, very small, it's not exactly an industry. There are many talents, but it's very premature. People really don't understand how much time and energy it takes to create an animation feature. So we're still building it. It's still a very small industry.
And was that a problem for you for the production?
Yes, well, one of our main problems was how to do it in Israel, because we don't have the tradition of making animation, because we don't have the experienced manpower, we had to find a solution that suited our budget and the manpower we could get. So what we did, we chose Flash cutouts animation. Flash was very easy for us. One of the main powers of Flash is really to create a very high quality animation with very small resources. And what we did is we used Flash cutouts, a very complex technique we created for this feature. That way we don't really have, one of the biggest problems with traditional animation is you have to have lots of people working. You have to have keyframers, in-betweeners, and the line is always a bit sketchy, so you have to have cleanup artists. And with our technique, we could just draw one figure, break it apart into many pieces, and just move them. And it really saved us a lot of time, and eventually a movie this size usually has the budget of $200 million and a crew of maybe 200 people. And we did it with $2 million and a crew of 10 people.
That's great. That's a big hit, big success. It's the technique of using Flash was such a surprise, I think, for many professionals like me, because just viewing the film, you can imagine 3D animation or rotoscope has been used?
It's very dangerous to say rotoscope next to my animators. We get really, this is not rotoscope. No, this is all flash cutouts, no 3D except for camera movements, but there are no real models or 3D character animation at all. It's all done in flash, in cutouts, everything.
So you use also compositing software also after Flash, I mean?
Yes, from Flash we export everything, and we did all our effects in After Effects. And again, some of the very complex movements in 3D, but we placed a flat 2D planes in the 3D environment to create the illusion of space, of mass, but there were no real models.
And couple of words about your cooperation with David Polonsky.
Mm-hmm. Well, this whole movie was actually, and this is one of the best things about working with Ari, this was all done really in partnership, and it was always Ari, David, and myself, and we were sitting from the very beginnings. Ari started by making interviews, live interviews, and then we sat down together and we broke them apart, and David, I'm the optimistic, you know, I would say, let's put an explosion here and let's put something big there, and Ari would say, yeah, let's do it, and David would say, listen, we can't do it. He was the pessimistic. That's his job, really. It would come to a point where, you know, we'd have a meeting, he'd go to the bathroom, and by the time he'd return, you know, a scene where someone just walks from one side of the camera to the other turns into a scene with helicopters and bombs and explosions, and he would say, you're crazy, what did you do? I just left. So this is, it turned out into a sort of partnership where everyone has his role, and it works fantastically.
Working with Flash, you've been able to maintain the graphic design.
Yes, yes. Basically what every frame in the movie was, every character in the movie was done by David, and it stays like this. And this is one of the best parts about this technique, that it can maintain the line of the artist.
And you have also designed the storyboard.
Yes, yes. After, as I said before, after Ari gave us the videos of the interviews, we sat down and we broke it apart. With saying this is going to be a recreation, this is going to be a fantasy, this is going to be a talking head, an interview. And I made sketches in these meetings which turned out into the storyboard.
And you've been here in Italy since a few days. Yes. You've got a little experience concerning the Italian world of animation. Do you find there is any comparison with the Israeli?
It sounds similar, the condition that the industry is in, which was a bit surprising to me, because Italians have a great tradition of animation, you know, in the 60s, and you have Bruno Buzzetto. And Israel just started like 20 years ago. There were a few animators, but real animation industry just began like 10 years ago.
Are you already working with Ari Folman on another new project, maybe?
Yes, we're working on the development for our next feature. It's going to be an adaptation for Stanislav Lem's The Futurological Congress. It's going to be a crazy movie, lots of hallucinations, and no war.
Are you going to use the same technique?
No, no. We're going for a different technique. We feel like it's been done. And we did a very preliminary test, and it came out something very similar to Bashir, and we decided we've done it once, we don't want to do it again, so we're going to go with traditional animation, but it's going to be a bit different again.
And at which stage of the production are you on right now?
Development and funding.
Okay, all right. Is David Polonsky also involved?
Yes, he's the art director of the movie.
Okay,
it's the same team.
Okay, thank you very much, Yoni, for being with us. Thank you.